Hand in hand with that, the company is obviously, as Rich alluded to, and you did, coming after everyone for everything, trying to remind everybody that they're still the boss, and put on this tough guy act. You need to do your job the way you're supposed to do it.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Greg Kerwood out of Local 25 in Boston and Richard Hooker, Principal Officer of Local 623 in Philadelphia. And I said 2 weeks ago I was going to be on a break. That is still going to continue, but there was just so much that came down the pipeline that I felt like was very necessary for us to cover. You know, we had the ratification of the contract. How does back pay going to work? And then also, for any veteran that works here, knows that the hammer comes down after a contract is ratified. Management is going to nitpick you. And we want to prepare you guys for what's to come. So let's first start it off. The ratification of the contract. I'm going to throw it to Richard Hooker. What do we know so far with this ratification?
Well, everything is going to kick off on my birthday, August 27th. So those wages will be in. All the, no 4-6 punches and no more Article 224s. Everybody will be owed 300s. Article 17 will be kicked in with the penalty pays and all these different things. So that's some good news. And like you said earlier, man, be ready. Be prepared for war. These guys are already starting to ramp up discipline and lay off a lot of people. So we had 86% to vote it through. We're going to need 100% to enforce it.
All right. So, Greg, everybody talks about the retro pay. Now, how does that work exactly?
So you're going to get retro pay from August 1st through tomorrow, Saturday, or yesterday if you're watching this on Sunday, I suppose. But so the new payroll will start this coming Sunday going forward. Everybody, whatever raise you're getting, most folks will be a $275 raise, will go into effect back to August 1st. And so you'll get a check for as if that raise had already been in place from all the hours you worked from August 1st until Saturday yesterday.
And so with vacations being an issue, we had a lot of people that scheduled their vacations August 1st in the first 2 weeks of August. How is their retro check going to work with those?
It depends on your supplement, but if you get paid hourly for your vacation check, that should be factored in to your retro pay. Folks like myself in areas that get paid an average of the previous year, it doesn't affect us. But if you're getting 45 hours or 50 hours, depending on your supplement, that would go back to the August 1st beginning of the pay raise. So your vacation check should be part of your retro pay.
So, Rich, you touched on it. The reduction of the workforce, layoffs. What's going on right now in Philadelphia? And is it happening in other parts of the country as well?
Yeah, it's happening everywhere. And unfortunately, sitting in this position is just heartbreaking because, we have members who grinded it out through the COVID, grinded it out through preparation of a strike, grinded it out through the contract negotiations. And then now all of a sudden, there's no volume, there's no work. We're going to cut this shift. We're going to cut that shift. We're going to cut this. We're going to cut that. And a lot of our members are feeling the heat because all they want to do is come to work and take care of their families, their responsibilities. But the company, it seems like to me, is that they couldn't wait until this contract was ratified so they could just go in and just start cutting people left and right. and we just have to be, vigilant and make sure that they are doing the right thing with these layoffs. It's very unfortunate. We're going to do what we can do here. We have some unemployment links to our website for people who are not getting their full 40 but can get partial unemployment. We're going to do everything we can on our end to hold the company accountable, supervisors working, all these kinds of things that we can do to either put money back into our laid off members' pockets or bring those laid off members back to work.
And so there was one other thing we need to touch on, and that is local 705 and 710 out in Chicago. So I'm going to throw this to you, Greg, real quick. What is the deal with like 705 and 710? Like, are they with the national agreement or are they on their own?
705 and 710 actually have separate white paper contracts with UPS. They sort of follow the same calendar that our contracts do, so they're up around the same time, but they are negotiated separately. A lot of the language is very similar to what you see in the national, and then they have sort of their own specific things that would be more supplemental for the rest of us. So they are not negotiated exactly on the same time frame. Local 710 ratified theirs today. I believe it went through. 705, I think, actually goes into September before their vote is done. And we will find out whether theirs is ratified or not.
And big shout out to everybody in Chicago. Love you guys. I know there's a lot of viewers out there, so just got to add that in there. So now with that out of the way, I'm going to throw it to Norm, business agent out of Local 623, to give us an idea of what's to come when it comes to discipline and discharges.
All right, the low-hanging fruit, one of the main thing is the uniform. Drivers is very important. Come in your uniform. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. I know it's hot. I know you don't want to wear the boots. You don't want to wear the socks, or if you don't have the socks, but you have to come in uniform.
And one thing I wanted to mention real quick is I have the link for the socks if you need them. I'll put it down below. There's like, for whatever reason, there's a username and password you got to put in to get the socks. They're like $10 for 6, but it is a necessary thing if you want to wear the shorts.
Next, I gotta have the attendance. I know whatever your attendance is, whatever you may have done in the past, if your route's light on Mondays, you call and say, hey, I'm not coming in. Attendance is important. That's one thing that is hard for us to beat as BAs, as union reps, because it's the only thing that we control. We control our own attendance. Be there. Don't give management the ammunition to shoot back at you. You got to protect yourself. After that, lunches. Lunches are a big thing. It's the dumbest thing in the world. And I don't want to call any of my Teamster brothers and sisters dumb, but it's one of the dumbest things that you can get disciplined for not taking your lunch or taking your lunch correctly. I know here in Philly, they say if you finish a stop at, say, 123 A Street and your next stop is 123 B and you think you're going to lunch, whenever you finish that last stop, you punch out for your lunch. It sounds crazy, but the company sets the policy, protect yourself. Please protect yourself, because they're calling everything theft when we know it's not theft. If you make a mistake, it's methods and procedures, but please protect yourself. Next, I got scanning packages. I don't know if they're doing it all over the country yet, but here in Philly, once again, if you don't scan a package within 500 feet of the stop, then you automatically pop up on a report, and it causes management to go looking into everything that you're doing. When I was a driver, I can be on Brown Street on 24th and Brown, but on 22nd and Brown, it's the summertime. I know Base Martin School is closed. And I used to, years ago, okay, they're closed. Let me just scan it as closed. There's no need for me to go there. The school is closed. It's summertime. But now you have to drive to the school, in front of the school, and close it out. It may seem like a waste. It may seem like a pain. But remember, we get paid for all time that we spend with UPS. You know, I hear people say, well, I'm not going to get done in time. I'm going to miss this. I'm not going to say tough to you. I'm going to say tough to UPS. Communicate to UPS. They have to make the adjustments, not us. Don't make their job easier for them. These are ways that we get more of our brothers and sisters on road. They want to give us more things to do. Okay, you can't do the same or more work in less time. So we have to protect ourselves and get more Teamsters on the job. Next. Smoking packages, they call it in Georgia, but we call it bag and stops here. They're scanning everything. They're doing scan checks. They have a new RFID system where they can go in a truck and wind it and know what packages are in what truck. If you don't make a delivery on it, let management know. What I used to do is I used to pull over before I got to the building or when I finished my last stop. I'm on the clock. You know, what am I rushing for? I would go through every package in my truck. If I had a commercial package that I missed, I text in through the diet. I'm not calling on my personal phone, but I'm texting in, hey, I found this package. I've been looking for it all day. What do you want me to do with it? I'm still en route. So it's up to management to make the decision. Don't bring it back and think, oh, I'm going to dump it on a recovery belt and no one's going to catch me. UPS has cameras everywhere. Where you think there wasn't a camera last week, there's probably a camera there this week. Do not give them easy ammunition to come after you. And lastly, this is for some of my inside people, the preloaders, whether you're full-time, part-time, whatever. Our job is to do the best we can while working safe. That does not mean if you have a 4-truck pool with 4,000 pieces that you have to wrap before the drivers get in. Management will say that, oh, you got to wrap so the drivers so they can pull on time. I was a driver. I can tell you, I didn't care if preload was wrapped or not because come start time, I'm getting paid. I don't care if they don't wrap till 12 o'clock because I'm already on the clock getting paid. Protect yourself. Don't rush and think I got to get these packages in a truck because when you have a misload, management's going to come after you. You think you're doing UPS a favor by hurrying and rushing to load this truck. No, you may get it done 4 out of 5 days, but that one day when that management gets reamed out because you had a misload and they come to you, oh, you had this misload. They're not going to say, oh, I told you to rush. No, they're going to tell you, you got a misload. You have to eat this discipline. Don't do the company any favors. We're not doing favors. We get paid for everything we do. If it doesn't get done, that's tough on a company. Protect yourself first, last, and always.
All right. So if you have not done so already, add 623 Lives Matter, Facebook, Instagram, every social media platform. And Greg, you know, you had the contract group, which has like 17,000 members in it, and we don't know what to do with it yet. But you can still add Greg Kerwood's 401k group on Facebook. Greg, you have any idea what's going to go happen with the contract group yet, or?
I haven't decided. It will continue on in some capacity, and it will remain contract related. It remains to be seen exactly how we change it up.
Awesome. All right. So usually we do shout outs, but I think during this time we got to do some rants. This is just a lot that's happened. I want to hear your perspective on this. I'm going to throw this to you first, Rich. What's your perspective on everything?
Well, I do want to give a shout out, but to combine it with a rant if I can. So we have, you know, the Teamsters Mobilized group with Jose and Emily and Jess and that group there, and we saw a lot of just negativity focused on that group for whatever reason. And I think the Teamsters, they still have a problem, man, when people speak in their own name, whether it be contract time, election time. We have an issue with people not going along with the get along, you know, kissing the ring, if you will. And that's not what this organization is about. This is about democracy. This is about using your voice. It's about getting involved in a fight. And just because we don't see eye to eye on issues does not mean that we are the enemy. These employers are the enemy. No matter who you vote for, no matter who you love, no matter who you worship, these employers are not our friend. They want to take everything from us. Listen, not even as soon, before the ink has dried on this contract, UPS has started just cutting our families, man. I'm not even talking about our members. They're cutting our families to pieces. And we need to understand that none of us are the enemy. It's okay to disagree. It's all right. We pay dues every week, or however you pay it. You know, you pay dues for a reason. You don't pay dues to be bullied or not have your voice heard. So, you know, that's my rant. Shout out to Emily, Jess, Jose, and I do want to give a shout out, if I can, to James Kerbean for being reelected as the chairman of the TNBC. and also my good friend and Joint Council 53 colleague, Dr. Robin Cooper, for winning the Eastern Region coach, not co-chair, but chair and recording secretary on the TMBC.
All right, Mr. Kerwood, rants. What's on your mind right now?
Well, if I'm going to rant about anything, it's going to be that our members need to understand that the battle is not over, that this is the halfway point and not the finish line, and that this contract isn't worth anything if we don't get in there and enforce it. Hand in hand with that, the company is obviously, as Rich alluded to, and you did, coming after everyone for everything, trying to remind everybody that they're still the boss, and put on this tough guy act. You need to do your job the way you're supposed to do it. Follow the methods and do what you're supposed to do and protect yourself. And at the same time, learn the new contract. That's going to be a big issue going forward. I'm sure we'll be talking about it for months on this show. But everybody needs to know what that new language is, because I can tell you right now, there's more language in this contract that needs us to enforce it than any contract I've seen previously, whether it's new SurePost rules or 9-5 rules or pay penalties. There's a lot of language in there that the company is going to completely ignore. I can promise you. They are just going to continue on about their business. And if we don't step up and enforce this new language and hold them accountable, then we've wasted our time with this entire process. So I would encourage everybody to, get the new language, read it, ask questions about it, and keep your eyes peeled when you're, on the shop floor or on the road, and then follow the methods and protect yourself and do what you're supposed to do.
All right, so Norm, I'm not going to leave you out of the rants section of the video. What do you want to rant about?
I just want to say one thing. We had a march on the boss 2 nights ago. The midnight shift at our Oregon Ave building was closed by UPS, and they left a lot of our members displaced. So my partner, my boss, Richard Hooker, my principal officer, we got together. We gathered all the full-time employees that were displaced, and we marched on them. We marched on management, and management had never seen anything like that in the building. We told them, hey, we're here for hours. They said, oh, you can't disrupt. We're not disrupting. We're here for hours. They told us we don't have any hours for you. We gathered everyone up. We made sure management heard, said, listen, we're going to do this tonight, tomorrow night, the next night, and we're going to keep doing this every night until you give us our hours back. I encouraged everyone, I'm going to file a grievance on your behalf for a violation of Article 50, where you get your guaranteed 8 hours when you punch in. And I encouraged everyone, go home and apply for partial unemployment for each day that you don't get your guaranteed time.
The one thing I gotta say real quick is, as far as rants go, it's something I see perspective a little bit differently on the road as a driver, and I think all the other drivers, passenger car drivers out there, have seen it too. Is we go out there and we've had customers left and right coming up to us talking about the contract. Some people somehow think that we make $170K a year, but whatever. In the end of the day, we've never had this before. We've never had the public involved in our contract, and I see a lot of customers out there right now excited for us and excited for labor. And, with the auto workers, with their contract expiring, the UAW is following our footsteps. And this isn't just the IBT doing their thing. This is the members actually going out there, doing the practice pickets, putting the boots on the ground, and having the media come out. We made a big spectacle of it. I think you should be very proud of that. I think it's awesome. And with that being said, I will return back to the normal schedule. Give me a little bit more time, but I figured we needed to get this stuff out there. There's too much important stuff to cover that I didn't want to leave everybody high and dry. So I do appreciate everybody tuning into this channel. It's done phenomenal, and I love all you guys, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.